Welcome to Ask the Accountant, the podcast that is made for you. Weekly podcast live Mondays from 8:30 a.m., released on the podcast service of your choice on Wednesdays. Your main weekly hosts, Aaron, Patrick, and Johann Goree. Got something to ask? Submit your questions below or ask during the show. Podcast loading. We are currently getting everything set up behind the scenes, so sit back, relax, and we will be with you in a few seconds. Enjoy.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ask the Accountant, episode number 43. That's right, we're getting closer and closer to episode number 52 when we've done a whole year's worth of episodes. And as always, joining me today is the wonderful Mr. Aaron Patrick. Aaron, how are you and how's your weekend been?
Hello, everybody. Good morning to everyone. Yeah, it's been a good weekend. Very good weekend. Just enjoyed it, really. We had a nice little, went to watch the boxing, saw a bit of football. Actually had a night out. Yeah, that's very good. What about yourself? How's the Fringe going this year? If we can rate it on compared to last year to this year, what are we saying? Better, worse? How's it going?
Better so far. Done quite a few shows already and really enjoyed them. Found lots of new talent, and then you go to these free shows and they're fantastic, and you go and try and find them on social media and think, oh, maybe they've got a YouTube channel so I can keep up to date with them throughout the year. No. So I'm just giving out social media tips now. You get yourself a YouTube channel, get some videos up, that'll help. But yes, so obviously we will go through various topics today. We've got quite some nice ones coming up. But first of all, of course, we have to mention our friends, the sponsors that are Employment Hero. Every time I get the wrongs. Ask the Accountant, sponsored by Employment Hero. And we'll go into more detail about Employment Hero later in the show with yet another advert. I think this week's one again is from Lizzie, one of her next 7 or something like that.
Yeah, producer Lizzie's gone and created one for us, so we'll look forward to that.
See if this one's any better than last week's one, which didn't get a warm reception. Like people weren't happy that she'd used your voice. So hey ho. Cool. Right. Well, let's crack on, because like last week, we've got quite a bit to get through, haven't we, mate?
We certainly do.
First of all, though, what we need to do is say hello to everyone that's in the comments. So who we got so far? We've got Paul saying good morning. Good morning to Kirsty as well. And good morning to Merlin. Happy to be back here. Happy to have you back. We always love when we have people returning, like Paul and Kirsty, who are here every week. And Kirsty, I can only assume that you're there listening to us through your QuickBooks overhead headphones, like you were cutting the lawn the other day on social media. See, I watch, I listen, I pay attention to what our fans are doing. Good morning, LinkedIn user, as well. So, Aaron, first topic. Let's start off on a really fun topic. Let's chat about MTD ITSA. And I believe you've got a bit of an update for us, haven't you? And you're not happy about it, are you?
No. So just for anyone who's been living under a rock for the last, however long it's been, you will notice that, or you'll know that we've got MTD ITSA was around the corner, now been pushed back. And we're now at the stage of a bit of much limbo of exactly when it's properly going to be coming out in terms of all the details. We're still, is it September that they said they're having the next update of when it's, what's going to happen regarding everyone below the 55
timeline? And yeah.
So in the meantime, and as we've been on the show talking about quite a lot, there is still the MTD ITSA Beta. And the beta itself is designed to make sure that there's literally a handful. I think there's 100 and something was in the beta last time I looked. That there's 100 and something of us who are filing under the MTD ITSA rules, and gives us an opportunity to test out software, give feedback, let HMRC know what the problems are. As you can imagine, there's been a few of them, quite a few of them, to be honest. And the whole point of the beta is to try and encourage as many as we possibly can into it, so that we can test and help and bring this solution together. I've been informed that there is a very good possibility, and just to clarify that from my point of view, I didn't really have any clients that were eligible for it, so I put myself in there. And I've already said to both HMRC and to, because I've spoke to HMRC about it in person and to QuickBooks themselves, I'm prepared to change my tax if I need to. If they want a partnership, I'll drum up a partnership and we'll test it. We'll see how it goes. I'm happy to play by their rules. I'm happy to change my tax position to put it in place so that we can do it. So, I didn't really have a sole trader income anymore, but I've just quickly put one together, a little subcontractor role, just so that I could be in the ITSA in the first place. I made sure my rent was all up to date. We're ready to go. But it turns out that on the beta, on the new updates that they've come through, I'm probably going to be kicked out of it because I don't hit the criteria. Now, they haven't 100% told me if that's just because it's the HMRC rules and regulations, or if this is, QuickBooks being forced down a particular route, because QuickBooks is who I'm doing the beta with. And is it that HMRC have said, right, you guys are going to concentrate on X, Y, Z, so we'll only allow X, Y, Z through. So I've still got to get clarification. But surely at this point in time, the most important thing for the beta is to try and increase the numbers, try and get as many different types through as we can. Willing participants out there who are ready to go on the scheme, and not close the door by making the beta even more complicated. So the rules and regulations is that because my sole trader income doesn't hit a certain threshold, I think it's actually the 50k threshold in theory, because it's not hitting that threshold, then I'm not eligible. Now, yes, I could really change my tax position around, and I could, say, oh yeah, well, it hits 50k now because I'm plowing this through if I really wanted to. But surely HMRC should just make the beta, especially to people who are already on the scheme, as open as it possibly can be.
I mean,
what's on it, Johann?
Surely they can't kick out the first person to file MTD ITSA via VR.
Apparently they can, apparently they want. Maybe that was it. I didn't think of that.
No, the problem was that they don't understand what that is.
They didn't know. No. They had to ask someone to fax them over a fact sheet of what a VR was. So,
someone fact me over the Wikipedia page for this, please.
Yeah. VR is on
the dot matrix printer.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's been it's just one of those really frustrating things, because we're in the conversation, like the conversation should still be at this moment in time is how do we get more people on the beta? What incentives can HMRC put? Are they going to give like a little tax benefit for joining the beta early or whatever? We've had these conversations, right? That should be the conversation topic we're having, not, oh, we're going to reduce the beta down even more to less people to go forward. So yeah, I mean, it's been a really interesting beta, as you can imagine. Like there's been so many issues and problems that we've been able to work with and figure out and sort out. Like the data's definitely coming through that's worthwhile. So turning around and saying that their new rules and regulations mean you have to have X, Y, Z, it's just going to be annoying.
Yeah, that it sounds like a step forward in announcing the new updates. Great, we're going to get some clarity, but in taking that step forwards, they've taken 5 steps back, as per usual for HMRC.
Exactly.
So yeah, okay. So we might be losing our edge on reporting here if we've not got the insights of the MTD ITSA Beta that you've got at the moment. But that's fine. I suppose we've got what 4 more years before we have to worry about that coming into force. So
yeah. So
you'd hope
I think the complex is that for all the software vendors, doing the quarterly updates wasn't that well. There was a lot of investment, there was a lot of time, there was a lot of everything else. That hasn't been the stumbling block. And I think for those software vendors who have already been burnt, already had the rug pulled from under them, already had all these issues to contend with, like putting the quarterly updates wasn't the biggest ask in the world. Yes, there was, a design sort, but the actual idea of just getting what was already there and submitting it to HMRC, most of them had a VAT system that did pretty much that, context wise was pretty similar, right? grab quarterly numbers and send it to HMRC. So I can imagine for a lot of them, they've been able to grab that data and almost reposition the VAT one, but then push it to a different channel, right? The problem's been is their incentive to build the end of year submission, and that's where a lot of this is coming from, because every beta user they have puts more complication to it in terms of, well, what do they need to send? Is it dividends? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? Capital gains? Is that involved? Etc. 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 And I feel like that's been the stumbling block. So I feel like HMRC are trying to help the vendors as much as they can, and trying to make it so that the vendors only have to put as minimal viable products as they possibly can to bring it in. But HMRC should be helping the vendors at this point, right? They should be right, while this is going ahead, if you need to do a complicated end of year submission, then just use our portal for now and just post it through there and get the complicated bit through there. But as long, we can continue to work with you on the less complicated stuff. But no, HMRC is just instead thought, well, let's just make the beta even more difficult to be part of. So
yeah, it just shouts HMRC incompetence again, doesn't it? Like, it doesn't give you any faith in what they're doing whatsoever. So yeah, okay, well, we will keep an eye on this one and keep you updated with Aaron's secret insights as he gets early information for this, well, until he gets kicked off the beta program anyway. Yeah, maybe it's a political move because you're so publicly well known.
But maybe it was that VR thing that's completely thrown. That's it. They're absolutely.
This guy's trying to do tax evasion through virtual reality.
They're not ready to tax the metaverse yet. That's their problem.
They jumped on crypto quick enough, didn't they? So
did they? What? When it all collapsed and no one was using it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, once there's no profit to tax, we'll get onto that. Okay, let's just shoot back to our comments quickly. So we have got Joe DeLee saying good morning from SIFT. Matthew saying good morning and loving the new intro graphic. Did I miss something?
No, it's the same one. It's all right. Don't worry.
Okay. I just spend my whole time going head bobbing to that intro music. I don't pay attention to the graphics. Good morning to Rachel from Accountant She, and good morning to Zoe from the Six Figure Bookkeepers. Paul says, I couldn't get onto the beta, which is odd because I probably have more clients that fit the remit than most accountants out there. Yeah, there was some weird criteria to get in there in the first place, wasn't there?
Yep.
Because I don't think I managed to find any clients that fitted the criteria 100%.
No, I didn't. That's why I had to put myself forward. That's the only reason.
Yeah, and then those that didn't seem to get much of a response from it. Because I think the problem was not only did you have to get into the HMRC beta, you had to be kind of pre-selected to go onto the software beta. So QuickBooks has got a beta running where they're testing their solution, as have other software companies. So it's not just getting past the HMRC beta requirements, it's getting into their QuickBooks' requirements or whoever else's requirements. And then they've got to put you forward to HMRC, and HMRC will then qualify you as to whether you're right for the program or not, or requalify you in this case. So yeah, good morning to Razan, hola to the LinkedIn user, and good morning to Ben as well. Lots of people tuning in today. Okay, now I don't want to spend forever on this one, Aaron, but you've been doing some research on OCR softwares, I believe, following our heated discussion last week about the joys of DEX pricing and the constant increases. But yes, so I believe you've done some comparisons of some of those that are out there. I mean, I'll be honest, my LinkedIn inbox has been full since my post about DEX price increases, with every single company out there trying to sell me their OCR technology solution. Sometimes multiple people from the same company messaging me independently. It's like, I've already told your colleague that it's not going to work. And yeah, the market has got a lot of great solutions. We need, completely open with that. is whether those solutions are quite fit for purpose for your client base. That's the question. So I had for people like Lightyear approaching me,
Yes.
who have got an incredible solution, but it's completely and utterly overkill for my client base. You know, I'm looking after your local window cleaners, your local bricklayers, your smaller businesses, you know, max £2 million turnover businesses. Lightyear's solution is absolutely phenomenal, but it's rather expensive because it's targeting the £3 to £10 million business turnover companies. So there's a lot of those out there. So it's really important that you understand what type of client are they really looking for, and is that the type of client in your client base? So for me, my options were very limited in the form of Dex, Auto Entry, HubDoc, I think Data Limio, something like that, was potentially something to go into contention, but I hadn't seen enough of it, so I need to make a choice quickly. So I went to Auto Entry in the end, which is going very well. I'm very impressed, really enjoying that at the moment. But Aaron, I believe you've done some research and you've got some insights for us.
Yeah, the one that I didn't include in this comparison was QuickBooks Receipt.
Oh, I think Aaron's. Oh, you just dropped out on us there, Aaron.
Oh, did I? Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm back.
Talking about QuickBooks Receipt and then gone.
Yeah, so I didn't include QuickBooks Receipt Capture because we all know it kind of inside and out. It's fine for what it does, and you know, I'm still a big advocate for it, but as a receipt capture tool for us accountants, it's not quite there yet. It's really just a great tool for your clients to use, and encourage them if they've got nothing else, right? They've already got QuickBooks on and we've got nothing else to provide for them. This is the way forward. So I didn't include them, but I did look at Dex, Lightyear, like you said. HubDoc had a quick look at, but I'll be completely honest, I don't do all that type of information with them. But I did have a quick play around. And then Auto Entry and Zahab, but there may be a little news about them two working together coming up. We might have more news on that later. And then BaseCon as well. So basically, from my point of view, I just wanted to see, first of all, the price and how that works and how that's put together. I mean, HubDoc's the easy one. That was completely free if you've got Xero. It's just a bit of a nightmare to set up. It's not as easy as just have the Xero app and you're off to the races. You're still going to have to get HubDoc up and running, get it all through. If I'm on it, do I believe HubDoc's going to be free for the rest of time? If I was a betting man and I had a crystal ball, probably not going forward. I would imagine there'll be some sort of cost associated with it at some point, right? You can kind of see that coming.
At some point, they're either going to charge you for it or close it down.
Yes, that's kind of Xero's approach, isn't it? Yeah. So we've got that at the moment being completely free. Then we had Lightyear. I think the only difference between Lightyear and the rest of them, though, is that they do charge per credit. So they are a credit system like Auto Entry is. But they only charge you when you publish to your accounting software. So if you've got something that's not been recorded correctly, and it's them kind of putting a stake in the ground, isn't it? That they're so confident that their OCR technology is going to find everything that you need and going to come up with as much good data as you want. They'll only charge you if you post it. I mean, I'm sure you've had it yourself, haven't you? Where a load of rejected items have come through Auto Entry or Dex, whatever it's going to be. And Dex didn't matter because you were paying for unlimited, weren't you? But with Auto Entry, could be quite expensive if you have too many of those coming through, or at least wasted credits. And yeah, so Auto Entry, they have that credit solution, don't they? So do they still have, I'm thinking about this, do they still have the two different credit bands? Is that still a thing? Because it used to be that you used to get like a simple invoice was 2 credits, but then there was a more complicated one was 3 or 4. Is that still a thing?
So it's one invoice, one simple invoice gets 1 credit. But if you want line extraction, then it's 2 credits.
That was it. Yeah. And then Dex roughly coming out to like what is it, 20 quid per client, something like that, 25 quid per client, it's around those numbers, isn't it, that's coming through. It's interesting to see which ones had the bank statement extract, because I feel like that was a huge reason why auto entry was still kept around for us. How useful it is to be able to get clients to send over the PDFs over to you, and then you extract them. I know you're a big advocate for analytics and using them to extract the data, and I think actually it's a much cleaner solution doing it that way. But if you just had a client where that's all they had was bank statements and they sent them to you by PDF, then extracting the bank is actually really important. Dex was an add-on, which was okay, and that was late to the party as well, wasn't it? It was only a couple of years ago that they gave you that feature. Yeah, and then auto entry you can do for 3 credits per page. That gets really expensive, but it is a really useful solution to do. But that was it. The rest of them don't have that functionality on the roadmap, and I find that really strange. Like, that was a bit of a no-brainer, and maybe they've missed the boat now because maybe it's less important to going forward. I find that really, really strange. All of them were auto-publishing is what you want to see. All of them gave the option to do line item extractions, but normally kind of with an extra fee involved. Supplier statement reconciliation, though, only one of them, Lightyear. But at the same time, I thought auto entry did do it. So yeah, maybe
does do it because I was playing with it last week.
Yeah,
I was really impressed with it last week.
And that was their differentiator again against Dex, wasn't it? Like Dex never touched that sort of stuff, but brought that one in. And that for some clients can be absolutely huge. You know, they're not going to send you every single individual purchase 100 credit note, but if they send you the majority of them, so you've got the big ones there, and then they send you a statement to go with it every time, you're always going to have a nice clean record, and we love it.
Yeah.
What really did interest me though was the different types. I was not aware that Dex only allowed PDFs, and that was it. That's all they were allowing to go through. That really properly was 100% going to work. Whereas the rest of them, you could throw quite a lot of stuff out. Like auto entry, it doesn't like it as much, but you can get away with most of the time embedded emails. Send them over. It'll do a quite good job on those. And then with the app and stuff, you could just take photos and everything else. But HubDoc was literally every single thing you throw at it was able to take it, from PDFs to JPEGs to all sorts of stuff.
The detail listing thing. So I know Dex and auto entry both handle JPEGs absolutely fine.
Oh, and they're coming through okay.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what you're creating on your app, isn't it? If you're on the auto entry app or the Dex app, you're taking a picture, so you've created a JPEG.
Yes, so bring it through.
So I think that's more of a detail listing on their website.
Maybe this is more when you forward it to them. Thinking about it, maybe that's the information that's coming through. That it's fact that it wasn't able to bring it through. But yeah, it is interesting that. But then again, when do you do anything more than a PDF? Most of the time, if you're going to fold it in, you've already converted, you've already got it there. It's out there. All of them offered the training, all of them offered support. So it's really just the cost. It was what I got out of this more than anything was, in my mind, I was like, Dex is by far the best solution out there. That they were the number one. Everyone else was, and then kind of auto entry was second, and then everything else was below. But actually, that gap's significantly been reduced lately. And that's down to people, innovation on all those sides. Like every single one of them have upped their game, has brought into it a better auto entry, better OCR technology, and better extraction of them all. And it's just really impressive that the rest of them caught up so much, which compared to what we were talking about yesterday or last week, compared to the bad news that have come from Dex at the moment, isn't good timing for them, right? Like they kind of needed everyone else to be so far behind, then the price hike makes even more sense, right? Yeah. If you're the Rolls Royce and you're having to increase your price and you're the only Rolls Royce there, fair enough. But as they were just kind of on par with everyone else, now they've priced themselves out of the market. It makes it a harder pill to swallow, doesn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I must admit, I have been really pleasantly surprised by the features and the quality of what's coming in and out of auto entry and the publishing and stuff. I've been really impressed for the last week with them. And yeah, maybe maybe it's one of those markets that maybe we haven't been as observant of, because we knew the pain point of moving clients from Dex to auto entry or to any other software is one of the highest pain points out there for, because the clients are so heavily involved in OCR technology with us. So that actually, as long as it's been okay and it's been affordable, we've never thought, oh, let's go find a better solution. But yeah, unfortunately Dex spurred that conversation on, and it's not gone in their favor at all.
And how's the reporting side gone for you? Because that was always your big worry, wasn't it? That you lost out on that report of however many auto publish you had, because that was really good, insightful information for you, wasn't it?
It was, but it's now developed in my team. It's become like a subconscious thing.
Okay.
Like they know to make our lives easier, they auto publish. It's like going into QuickBooks, and it's easier if you just apply rules if you can. So it's become like muscle memory to do it. So yeah, I'm not overly worried at the moment. And it sounds absolutely stupid, but the thing I'm absolutely loving about auto entry at the moment is when I log into Dext, I see a long list of my clients, all alphabetical order, and you have to scroll through to see who's got any transactions any documents against them.
Yeah.
Auto entry organizes based on the number of who's got the most transactions. It's like, that's incredible. Like, there's no risk of me scrolling through and going number blind to zeros or something, because it's all there. It's at the top. So yeah, no, I'm very much enjoying my new experience with auto entry at the moment, and I think they've come very far considering where they were 5 years ago when I last looked at them. So yeah, really impressed.
Yeah. And adoption for your clients been okay?
Clients have been absolutely loving it. They found a lot of them are saying this is just as easy as Dex. There's no issues. Like from their end, it's just a different app or a different forwarding email address. You know what? I really like the fact that auto entry auto suggests that the forwarding emails, whereas in Dext you have to find I've got to make this up, and it's like, oh, that's taken. It's like auto entry just goes, well, here it is. It's like, cool, that's easy. Copy that. So yeah, no, clients. I mean, we're still waiting on some clients to come back to us on it, but at the moment we've got a 80+% moving rate. From Dext to auto entry. They'd rather change to a newer software than pay £10 plus VAT for Dext.
Yeah.
So,
and I think the important thing about this whole process is, if you'd have taken a step back like 6 months ago, a month ago, whatever, before this happened, you would say you never want to change your practice management solution, because that's a real big pain point, right? And yeah, we've seen proof that that's actually not as bad as it is lately, right? Yeah. And you would have said that changing your your Dext or your OCR technology would be a massive pain point, because they're the two that with QuickBooks and Xero as your bookkeeping. But most of the time you're not changing that because of anything other than the clients. That's a conscious decision because one solution's got something that the client needs, right? And you're having a conversation with them. But on mass, those are the two which are your most client facing, right? And having to change those is one of those kind of no-nos. But actually, it's not been as bad as probably we all thought it would have been, has it?
No, I think for us, it's not been so bad because we've not touched it in 5 years. So it's not like we're changing every 6 months or a year. So that is probably something to bear in mind. If you have only just moved someone to something, then yeah, it'd be more painful. But yeah, no, it's not been the horror story I was expecting from my client's end anyway, which is good. We've had some comments about this in the comments. So Kirsty has been using her headphones that I expected her to be using to avoid waking up the sleeping teenager. Summer holidays end this week in Scotland. I'm very excited to go back to normality. I mean, I don't have kids, but I'm excited to go to Tesco and Asda and to get my lunch, and for them not to be filled with school kids that are running around. So yeah, grumpy old man back in the corner. Kirsty said she was really impressed with Lightyear, would cope better when clients send orders, the invoice and payment receipt. She was impressed with their statement matching, but hasn't tried that on auto entry yet. Yeah, it's definitely worth having a look at the auto entry one. Kirsty is very impressive. Paul says, talking about smaller client needs, is one tap receipt still going? The website appears like it is, but it doesn't look like it's been updated as it still refers to Receipt Bank. So One Tap Receipt was launched or brought by Receipt Bank years and years ago. Dext are launching or have just launched a solo thing, something called Solo. Basically, if it's a sole trader and not VAT registered, they can use this Solo thing. It works out about £2 or £3 a month cheaper than using the full-blown suite because they've got simpler transactions to deal with.
Does that include the register, the record thing as well? Is this taking some of the technology from the MTD stuff they had?
Yeah, but I think it's one or the other still. You can either use the bank feed or you can use receipt capture. You can't use both.
Moving on. We don't want to have more negativity over that one.
And Paul says the support link doesn't work either. Yeah, I think it's an old website that needs making redundant. Good morning to Victoria. Catherine, is auto entry still taking hours to process documents? Not that we're seeing. Everything we've put in so far now, clients have put in is within the hour, which is more than acceptable by our standards. There was one document that maybe took 2 hours, but in auto entry's defense, that was a piece of paper, a lined piece of paper that one of my colleagues wrote on left-handed when he's right-handed, then screwed up, then flattened out, and then took a photo of to test if it could read it. So it took a little longer, but to be fair, read it 100% accurate. So, yeah,
that's
I would accept the delay.
Yeah, that's reminding me. Is Dex doing sales invoices as well, extracting? Because that's what auto entry gives you as well. Oh, it does.
Yeah, Dex has got it.
I know the rest won't, but it's very niche case you ever need it, is it?
Yeah. Paul does prefer the flexibility over one solution. I use AE for supplier statements and a mix of QB and HubDoc for receipts and credit notes, which HubDoc now supports. Cool. So yeah, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, in the OCR world, hasn't it?
It has.
Now, before we move into our next topic, which is very exciting, I'm looking forward to announcing this properly. Let's do the ad roll for this week's sponsored by Employment Hero segment. This is another one that producer Lizzie has created for us. I've not seen it before. Aaron, have you seen this one?
It's probably one of your voices on it. Did you ever give any voices for this? Or should we expected your voice on this?
No, she couldn't afford my voiceover fee. Having said that, I've just been playing with that AI voice tool that's in the new iOS on Apple. That's impressive. Scary.
You're thinking she may have extracted your voice one way or another.
Yeah, I'm expecting her to have hacked into that. So. Or Apple to have sold it to her, one of the two. But yeah, so let's roll this week's sponsorship ad roll for Employment Hero.
Ask the Accountant brings you Employment Hero. Are you tired of sifting through stacks of paperwork when boarding new recruits? Say goodbye to hassle and say hello to efficiency. Introducing Employment Hero's HR software, designed to streamline your HR process. With their powerful platform, you can onboard new recruits seamlessly online, saving you time and headaches. Performance reviews are made easy. Employment Hero's intuitive system allows you to conduct performance reviews effortlessly, providing you with the valuable insight to boost productivity and drive success. I feel like maybe something should have been said at the end.
I feel like she ran out of voiced over credits with you, or
I think she just wanted to make that 1 minute.
Oh,
very good. I mean, I was not expecting my voice there, so yeah, it was very good though. And it's true, like that HR element about the performance review. That's why we jumped over to Employment Hero. That literally was that one headache point that was like, you know what? There's room for improvement here, and I think Employment Hero gives us that improvement. It just automates it all, doesn't it? So
yeah, no, we use the HR solution, which means every Monday morning my team wakes up with a happiness score survey So it doesn't tell me who scored me what, or the company. Sorry, it doesn't tell me who scored the company what. But out of 10, how happy are you to be going to work this morning? I'm pleased to say we normally get 10 out of 10. So that's all good. But I actually went into Employment Hero HR this weekend because we've got 2 new starts coming on board, and added them into Employment Hero, created new contracts for them. Minutes. In literally minutes, I had a document, and it had all the placeholders, and it took me through step by step. And yeah, incredible. So I know I'm issuing UK compliant employment contracts, and it takes minutes.
And you get to customize the questions as well, don't you? So that's what I found really impressive. Like, I'm asking them, what type of computer do they want? Do they want a Mac or a PC? You know, what do they need, a chair? Do they, you know, those sort of things that normally it's back and forth via email to go through. They get one onboarding thing, they fill it all out. I know what size t-shirt they have, for example, going forward, that sort of thing. And it just, it makes the onboarding so much easier, doesn't it?
Definitely does. Yeah, I'm really, regardless of sponsorship, I'm really impressed with it. It's made my life a lot easier when we're growing our firm at the rate we are. So yeah, definitely very, very good. And it's even got the ability for subcontractors, which for a lot of accounting and bookkeeping firms, they subcontract a lot of work out. So the fact that they can issue subcontractor contracts out, and they can facilitate a subcontractor almost as if they were an employee of the business, makes life so much easier to do it all in one place. So yeah, really, really good.
Thank you, Employment Hero.
Yeah, very, very proud to be sponsored by Employment Hero. They are making life a lot better. So just go back to the comments quickly. Kirsty uses a auto entry for sales, picks up all the detail from clients' Excel documents very well. Good to know. Paul, I think Employment Hero white labels some of their products. I use FreshPay, which uses Pension Sync from Employment Hero. Yes, so Pension Sync was an independent business, and Employment Hero purchased Pension Sync at the same time as purchasing KeyPay. So, but yeah, great tool. Cool. Right, Aaron, we've got news. You may have seen it on our socials. We are pleased to say we have been approached by Accountex North and asked if we would run our podcast from a podcasting area at Accountex North this year. So we, of course, have said yes, haven't we? And we will be there all day. So we're going to get early access so we can get in and do our grid walk for the day. So we'll go through, meet all the exhibitors, tell you what's going on what stages, etc. We've done the grid walk for a few different events now, and it seems like a very popular thing that you and I really enjoy doing. And we're refining it. We're making it easier and better for ourselves. So, like, you know, the last grid walk, the digital accountancy show, I nearly broke my back carrying my camera. So I now have a monopod pole to help take the strain off my back. And it's the little things that make life better. But then once we've done that, during the show for the whole day while it's open, we are going to be live if we can be, but that's internet dependent. But what we are going to be doing is we're going to be at a booth where we're going to be calling it the podcast pit stop. So keeping in line with our fans of F1, where anyone can stop by and have a half an hour chat with us. And we'll do an interview, we'll create that content, and that will be posted out across all the Accountex channels and our channels on the weeks and months following the event. And it'll probably be repurposed, ready for following events next year. So if anyone wants to come along and have a chat for an interview, then we will be posting links to book in for your interview. You know, we're expecting high demand here, so we've got a proper Calendly link, and you can book in your half an hour slots. Now, some of those interviews will be just done by Aaron, and some will be done by just myself because we have got other commitments throughout the day. So I'm speaking in the morning. Aaron's got some social media content he wants to create. And we've also got commitments for Employment Hero for them. So we will be continuing to do that, but we'll do it alongside the live show. So it might be one of us that's interviewing you, or it might be both of us if you're really, really unfortunate. But yeah, so we'll be publishing Calendly links in the coming days for everyone to start booking in when they want to have their interviews. It's going to be about you, your background, why you come to these events, why these events are important, and what your favorite parts of these events are, basically. So it will be fairly scripted for every event, every video, so it'll be fairly similar. But we're just a bit honoured, really, aren't we, Aaron, to be approached by an organisation like Accountex and asked, if we put a venue together for you, will you run an interview attendees? It's like, yes, we will. But yeah, anything to add there?
No. I mean, it's absolutely, yeah. You put it into a good, like, concise section. I'm just really excited. We spoke about it. We had our like year look back, didn't we? That we released this week about, and the announcement, well, the week before it was, of our sponsorship and everything in the future, the channel and everything else that went with it. And when you looked at our goals that we set ourselves, not in our wildest dreams did we think that we could be, Accountex's or Accountex North in this case podcast. That it becomes surreal, doesn't it? So no, we're really excited for it. We've got some great plans. We've got some, maybe a little bit of merch if you're lucky enough. There's only going to be a very, very small amount, but there is going to be a bit of merch there. We're going to have opportunities to people to listen as well as talk as well. So if you are just wanting to come into one of our big marquee talks that we're going to be having, you could be one of the first to hear it, and get you down there. I know we're just really excited to be involved in it. Like you said, we've already got a really busy time planned anyway, but this is going to be something we're going to put a lot of passion into, and yeah, we're going to see if we can make sure that we do it proud. We've been asked to come along and be the podcast of choice for Accountex North, so we want to make sure we push that as far as possible. So really excited, and definitely keep an eye out for it. We won't just be at the booth as well, we'll be around as well. We're going to try and get some snippets while we go around. So keep an eye out for us, don't be shy, and let us promote yourself as well as promoting the pod. So yeah, it'd be great.
Definitely. And just another excuse for us to go on Amazon and spend more money, isn't it, and get more toys ready for these things.
They've already happened.
It's any opportunity for us to drag all of our new toys and play with those is always a good opportunity for us. But no, we're really, really looking forward to this. It's going to be some fantastic things coming out of that. So make sure you pop in, even if you don't want to be interviewed. If you just want to pop in and say hello, and you want your photo taken at the pit stop, with or without us, we're not. We're not fussed.
I can't give too much away, but there may be some photo opportunities with some very important celebrities that may or may not be related to F1.
Not you and me, then.
No. You'll have an opportunity. We'll leave it at that. That could be the tease.
But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to this event. It's going to be. I was already looking forward to the event, but when Caroline from Accountex reached out, it's like, yeah, this is going to be a special way to pretty much round off the first year of Ask the Accounting podcasting. So we couldn't say no. It was far too good an opportunity to pass up. But yes, so let's speaking of people going back on things and doing silly things. We've spoken about Dext and their pricing. We've spoken about HMRC reducing the amount of people allowed in the beta, or who's eligible for the beta. So let's talk about more public relation nightmares, shall we? Zoom. That tool that's created so we can all work from home, and we all depended on for 2 years during COVID, so we could all work from anywhere we needed to work from. They have they've decided that all of their employees need to go back to the office, which just smacks of irony, really, considering their tools benefit, their profits for the last 3 years is all of us working away from home. So yeah, basically this week or last week, it was in the headlines that Zoom will be instructing all their employees that they must return to the office. Now, my fear is, and the reason we're talking about this, is that the more dated and old-fashioned accounting and bookkeeping firms out there who have just been convinced that work from home can work, it's a good thing, which it is, it's incredible, are going to see this article and go, oh, well, if it's not working for Zoom, who create the software for it to do this, then it won't work for me, and I've got to tell all my staff to work from the office again. Which really isn't the case. I mean, I think it says a lot about Zoom's culture and the environment they're creating. If they can't make this work, then there's a problem in the culture in their team, really. My team have been working from home since 2017 when I started the business, and they still do. We've got a couple of people at work in office, like co-working offices, but that's at their request. They prefer the socialization, the distinction of work and being at home for private life. Yeah. But yeah, Aaron, thoughts on this when you saw it?
Obviously, it's been blown out of proportion, hasn't it? Let's just put it into context. I think everyone just liked the idea. Well, the media did, didn't they? That they could have Zoom forcing everyone home. And in fairness to Zoom, they have a different model than the accounting model, right? They do need to have at some point people to be in the office so that they can have that innovation, collaborative, and all that sort of stuff where they just need to have it. And they have some expensive real estate that realistically people should be using. We know firsthand, don't we? QuickBooks are in a similar sort of position. They don't want to force everyone back home, back into the office, but they want to make it so that people are using the office and are being collaborative and are coming in, even if it's just once a week, once a month, whatever the time frame is going to be. If you've got that expensive real estate and you've sat there with this amazing office, really, you want to encourage people to come in once in a while, don't you? And I think it's exactly the same. And that's kind of where we, as our practice, that's where we're going down. It's we got rid of our real estate, so we can't force people to go back to the office on a regular basis. But we are encouraging that at least once a month, hopefully more, that we all do have a hands-on and we are all in the same office together, because it's those sort of conversations then that we can then drive our innovation. So last conversation topic was all around spaces and Starling and how we're going to tackle that, because it was starting to get really complicated with certain clients, and why is it an issue and what can we do? And we just bring those sort of conversations when we're all in the room and we can all have a proper on the whiteboard and put some ideas together and things like that. So yeah, you can kind of understand where Zoom's philosophy is of trying to get them back into a some form of working from the office at some point. And I think going forward, hybrid is going to be the way, right? That seems to be the winner for everyone. It's not going to work for every office and every industry out there, but I feel like hybrid's the standard to really go for. And how that works for you, I think is gonna be important for how attractive you are in terms of being able to get new talent and everyone to the business, isn't it?
Yeah. I can't say my firm's suffered from a lack of innovation because we don't all work in the same space once a month or something.
Yeah.
I think it is very much how you use the tools available to you. So we are Teams fanatics. We all live on Teams. We've got one screen that's Teams. We've got one screen that's Client Engager. We've got one screen that's QuickBooks, Dex, Auto Entry, whatever we're using. And we have really good meetings. The meetings are automatically recorded. We've got a whiteboard in there. We can brainstorm. We can jump on calls with each other whenever we want, like the water cooler chats and stuff. Quite regularly, I'll have a lull between jobs and work that I need to do, and I'll just ring around the team, see how they're all doing, how was their weekend and stuff. So, I'd do that if I was in the office. I'd go out of my office and go for a wander around the shop floor, as it were. So yeah, I think personally we don't even need hybrid, but I'm probably more of an extreme version of that example. And yeah, I get Zoom, QuickBooks, etc. have got very expensive real estate that they can't just drop off their balance sheets. They'll be in for multi-year leases and stuff like that. So yeah, I get it, and I just hope that older school accounting and bookkeeping firms don't look at this and go, well, if it's not going to work for Zoom, then it won't work for us. So for that reason, everyone back to the office. If it does cause that, then those people won't hang around for long with those businesses, and it might make recruitment a bit easier for the rest of us who do promote and encourage work from home, etc. So yeah, that's my 2 pence on that one. Right, Aaron, in our notes, I've got a little section that says Tech Roundup. Is this a new little feature we're doing?
Yeah, I thought we would. If there's anything out there that we think people should be aware of, I think this is our chance. I'm debating asking producer Lizzie to make us a little intro for Tech Roundup. We'll go through that.
I like that.
We'll see what she can come up with. But yeah, so 2 quick ones. First of all, Square has released Square Go in the US. So basically, they already offered and Square, for anyone who's not aware, is a point of sale solution, probably the most prominent in terms of features and everything else out there. I've done plenty of reviews on it on the channel, so do have a look at it. But Square Go is them really pushing their appointment section. So it's only in the US at the moment, but they're really pushing that Calendly-esque approach to it. They really want to push it so that they are owning that space, and they already did a kind of an appointment solution, but this one is its own dedicated app. It means it's really easy to bring in to book on, and it means that people can kind of almost find you in a directory as well and kind of boost sales as it goes through. So I actually think this is a really nice take on it, and from the people who've kind of reviewed it so far, again, it's in the US, not in the UK, they're really liking it. Like, it's really just given them a lot of options to kind of go in there and promote their business and make appointments. When you think of the beauty salon industry, you think of those sort of people where they just live and die on appointments. The amount of clients we've got now that don't offer walk-ins at all, that's like a thing of the past. Like, walk-ins was pre-COVID, and now, nowadays it's appointment only, and that's the only way they take it. A solution like this would be absolutely ideal for them.
Definitely. So I've got a bit of tech news as well, actually. ChatGPT, for the ChatGPT 4, which is the paid £20 a month version. One of the things that got released with ChatGPT 4 was the ability to have plugins, which is basically you're taking tools and you're powering it like you would put plugins on your Chrome browser. There's now over 800 plugins available in ChatGPT 4. And you can now, so each time you use a plugin, you need a conversation where that plugin is used. But you can now plug in up to 3 plugins into a conversation.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah. So there's like ChatGPTs where you can put someone's email address in, say someone's reached out to you to do a meeting with you, and you want to do a bit of research on that person. You can put their email address into this plugin, and it scours the internet for references to this person and their email address, and it gives you, quite a detailed bio for them, like their logos, working history off LinkedIn, the type of subjects they talk about on LinkedIn, any websites and companies they're related to, etc. You can put on a CSV building tool, so you can go in. So there's a tool as well for working out loan finance. So you can say, right, I'm borrowing this amount for this period of time at this interest rate. Calculate my loan table for me, ready for the accounts. It can do that, and then you can use a CSV plugin to export that as a CSV file for you. So yeah, lots of things you can do there. Now, this is still in the paid for version, and when the next ChatGPT, whether it's 4.5 or 5, whatever it is, comes out, you normally see all these paid for tools go into the free version. But there's no word yet when the next ChatGPT is coming out. But yeah, it's certainly those 800 plus, I mean, there's a lot of rubbish in there, but 800 plus apps in that short period of time tells me there's a lot of people excited about the opportunities the ChatGPT marketplace can bring them. And they're developing quickly.
Yeah.
Any other tech updates from you, Aaron?
I've got one more.
Yep, go on, we've got time.
Yeah, okay, cool. I've got one more quick one. So Logitech has gone out and done what they normally do and put up with new innovation. This time, though, they are actually targeting the work from home. So if you're not as lucky as we are, where we've got these dedicated offices in our house that we can sit down and enjoy a bit of work from home, and you're working from, say, the kitchen table or something like that, well, Logitech has now released a new laptop stand and keyboard that folds down into a cute little box. So this is really aimed at people who are, just want to have that bit of style. They want to have something that they can put away. But when it all puts into it, when it all goes back into its little fold away, it looks like a book that you can put on a bookshelf. And it's got this, pink aesthetic to it to be kind of aesthetic as well. But basically, the stand itself puts your laptop up so that it's in a much better viewing angle for you. Comes with a wireless keyboard, wireless trackpad, so then you can just take those out of the box and you're off to the races. And it looks like a very good little piece of kit. And I can imagine, just for a bit of content out there, there's certain people who maybe promote pink more than anything else, that may even be have spoke in the comments today. I can imagine them getting some nice little content, and maybe even should be looking to get a sponsorship deal, if I'm honest, to go forward from them. Although, let me rephrase that. If they get a sponsorship from Logitech before we do, there's problems. there's maybe some of us promote some of their software, their solutions more than others. But no, it looks really, really good. Do have a look. It's called the Casa Pop-Up Desk. And I do highly recommend people to have a look at the Casa Pop-Up Desk from Logitech.
How much are they asking for this new?
£179. £79.
But then, to be fair to Logitech, I'm sat here looking at a mouse and a keyboard that cost me £200. So
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And to be fair to Logitech, their stuff is indestructible. Their keyboards and mouse last forever, and they're ergonomic. They're really nice. I love using mine. But yeah, brilliant. I'll have a look.
One of the things about this as well is it's available in the UK, Australia, New Zealand. So we get it before the US. So
interesting. Very interesting. Okay, right. So I think that's about it for this week. Just go through the comments quickly. Paul can't make Accountex North, but it sounds exciting. He also liked the CSV plugin in ChatGPT, and it could save so much time messing around in Excel. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be.
I've seen some really clever people using that, like just being able to take it. That here's one data set, and here's what we need it to look like.
Yeah,
done.
Yeah. And Victoria says she's loving using ChatGPT, but also bardgoogle.com.
Maybe one day we should have a Bard versus Chat versus Bing. I mean, I'm the only one in the country using Bing, but I can put my 2 cents in there. It's fine.
As long as we don't ask any questions before after 1980, you'll be all right. But yeah, we ought to do a comparison. Actually, that would be a really good video for us to do at some point. Cool. Okay. Well, on that note, Aaron, what have you got coming up this week? Did I see some videos coming out this week?
Yeah, so people behind the scenes, or just a little sneak behind the scenes, when it comes to me doing my videos, so I do 2 videos a week. Normally, most of them are kind of done in advance, but I had 2 topics this one that I couldn't wait. So they both got filmed, they've both been done, and they're both ready to be released in the next 2 weeks. One of them is not to be missed if you have any clients who are using Starling and you've got QuickBooks Online. So on Aaron and Patrick QuickBooks chat next week is all about Starling, or tomorrow, I should say, all about Starling and QuickBooks Online. But then next week, I do have a rant about one of the feature requests that we've been asking for a long time. Finally come out, US only at the point, but yeah, it's my first time that I am very disappointed. And you can even see it because it was my first reaction and first look at it. So I'm all excited about this release. I then go and look at it, and let's just say that, yeah, they should have spoke to us beforehand.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, it is terrible. So I won't say more than that, but that is next week's. But this week's is far more positive. Absolutely brilliant update that I think everyone should be jumping on if you've got anything to do with Starling. We've got a new update for it, and finally Starling and pots are not a problem anymore, which we're very much happy about. But yeah, next week is a very disappointing update that we will talk about.
Brilliant. Okay. Anything else coming up this week for you?
This week is, just lots and lots of meetings, which is what we want to see. We're kind of at that stage at the moment where we're trying to get as much work done and dusted as possible, so that then we can go off for the accounting council, which is 3 weeks time, whatever it is, and then and then 4 weeks time or whatever it is for Accountex North. So yeah, it's going to be a busy few weeks, so we can afford our time to go and create the content that we want to create. What about yourself, Dan?
Busy week of meetings, and just very busy my end at the moment. But all will be revealed in the coming weeks and days. So yeah, just busy as always, just doing my job in various places with various plates spinning as always. But yeah, well, thank you very much to everyone that's joined us in the chat throughout the show. Remember, we are live on a Monday morning at 8:30 if you're listening back to us on your podcast channels. So if you want to have a input, say hello, etc., then please do feel free to come and join us on our live show, whether it's on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. We are everywhere, 8:30 every Monday morning. Failing that, of course, you can always listen back to us on the podcast at 8, which comes out on a Wednesday. So yeah, thank you very much for everyone that's joined us. Thank you again for Employment Hero sponsoring today's episode. As always, we're very proud to be part of that team and to be working alongside them so closely. So we hope you all have a wonderful week, and we will see you all again next week.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye-bye.